And it goes a little something like.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of the Ballrooms and Bachelors podcast, where we talk about our experience as ballroom dancing students, dancing with the stars, and all things Bachelor. I'm Camille.
I'm Matthew.
Okay, so let's get started. On today's episode, we are going to talk about our dance experience this week. We had another coach, Hazel Newberry, was in the studio. I wanted Matthew to talk a little bit more about his dance class that he's taking at school. It was also his 1-year dance anniversary. And just we'll chat a little bit about how the group classes are changing going into October, prepping for our November competition still. And then, of course, episode 2, Elvis Night of Dancing with the Stars, and then the Bachelor in Paradise premiere. So we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes.
Might not be full 2 hours, but if you want to get started and talk about the masterclass with Hazel.
Okay. Did you do a coaching with her?
I did do a coaching with her earlier in the day.
Okay.
But I couldn't stay for the masterclass.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did the coaching go well? I've heard everybody said that it was great.
Yes. So. Yeah. I worked with her and David for standard, and we went over my quick step and we changed my quick step routine because I'm still doing silver for standard, but I'm going to try to increase the technicality of it a little bit and just I've been doing the same still silver standard. I'm still getting used to the end of the line. I have no liners this week. No, I'm the silver standard routine. So we're just trying to step it up and do a little bit different steps now moving forward. So she fixed it up a little bit for us, and she's great. I've worked with her twice before, and I think I did only one of her master classes before. Unfortunately I couldn't stay Friday, but no, she's great. Hazel's great.
Yeah, I agree. And like you were saying, the master class that I was so fortunate that I got to take, it was so much fun. And like I've mentioned on the podcast before, I pretty much exclusively have only done international Latin since about January this year. So it's pretty much the whole time I've been dancing, give or take, less, maybe besides for the first 3 months I was there, where they kind of just throw everything at you so you can see what you like. So you can do maybe a little cha-cha, a little salsa, a little tango, foxtrot, all that stuff. But like I said, December or January, I switched to strictly doing international Latin. So I haven't done most pretty much anything smoother standard unless it's in a group class. And as you know, and I've talked about this before, my next style I'm planning on getting into so I can compete in it is standard, and I'm really excited about it just because I've been wanting to learn that as well. And like we've talked about, that's more of the kind of traditional guy in the tux, women in the long dress, in kind of traditional ballroom style. If you picture what traditional ballroom dancing is, you probably think of. So like I said, I haven't done that much, and I'm actually probably going to start working on it, actually coming up with routines and working on it along with Latin probably after November. So either December or January is when Elena said we'll start kind of adding standard into our mix, which is going to be fun. But going back to Hazel's class, like you said, she's amazing, and she's so sweet and so funny. I was telling a lot of people, doesn't she remind you a lot of Amanda Dockman? They're so similar to me. They're so similar to me, and apart from them being both British, the personalities are similar. They always make and stuff. They're the best. But yeah, so like I had said, I haven't taken many smoother standard. I haven't done much of that unless it's been a smoother standard group class. Where we've done smoother standard in group class, and so we worked on a tank. Well, we first did kind of a smooth / standard leg exercise. We kind of did the rise and fall in a square around in a box, kind of the waltz box around the floor, and we did the rise and fall with that. To kind of get our legs and our posture ready and everything like that. And then we worked on a tango routine, which was really, really fun. And it's interesting because tango, as probably most dancers know, you have to be low on your legs when you're doing that the whole time. So that's also a interesting thing, because like I had said, I'm not muscle memory with that. I'm not used to it, so it took me a little while to get kind of used to being feeling like that. But it was so much fun. And then she had all of us lead her around the floor with the same routine. So she was like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this ourselves, and then each one of you come up with me and then like lead me through this. And so we like did the tango routine. It was pretty much, I forgot what it was, but it was like side, we went to the side and then kind of like side diagonally, and then we turned around and then did like two steps backwards. So it was kind of, I forgot what the whole routine was, but we kind of did like a semicircle around, like it was like a half rectangle almost. And we did that, and it was a lot of fun. And the class was pretty small, so it made it nice just because we were able to like get like really good attention from her, and we got to learn a lot. And she wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of people that like she had to attend to. She was able to be really personable with us and say, hey, like work out, like how about maybe do this, or maybe you can look at it doing this way, or this is how maybe you can improve. And again, she was just so nice, because like every time that I did it, she said that I improved. She was like, oh my gosh, that's way better. And so that was really nice. She was so sweet. And I just thought it was so much fun. I know we've talked about this in the past, but it's cool that our studio has these kind of coaching opportunities for coaches to come in, because these people and these dancers are like really, really high class and high level, that it's just so cool that they take the time out of their busy schedules to come and kind of teach us for a little bit, which is really cool. And all the group coachings we've had in the seminars have been really, really fun. And we did the same thing that we did in the Amanda class, where a few months ago, where we were working on our obviously Sweden standard posture, and then the Latin posture, because you have to be kind of, and I've actually learned this, like, because I remember some of our friends told me, and I heard somebody that I heard Derek talk about it on Dancing with the Stars this week, where I always had assumed that the posture was always back, but for smooth instead, like because you always see people leaning backwards, but it's actually, what I found out is your posture is so high and just so kind of like, just so like I don't know what it is, but it's so composed that it looks like you're leaning back, but you're just so far stretched up.
Except for when I do it wrong, but that's another story.
I feel like and it's not easy, because like I had said in the class, she made us like have our hands here but look this way the whole time, routine, or that way.
She did that a little bit with me too during my lesson. So once we got through the choreography, she was going through a little bit with like the posture and and in the frame and going over that too. So so it's very different than what I'm used to. Like we had our hands here and looking up that way, and we had to do the whole routine, like even going backwards and sideways without losing this posture, which was like really interesting to do, because you're like, your head wants to move with your body. So it's like when your body moves, your head wants to go like this, but instead of saying that, you're supposed to keep it still like that. So it takes some getting used to. It does. It definitely does take some getting used to. But I agree, and it was just so much fun, and I had a great time, and I learned a lot from it. And like I had said, I think with me starting to learn standard in a few months, I think it was definitely a good kind of like first step into getting used to, like, again, the frame and how your legs are supposed to be, and like dancing with a partner and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed it a lot. Awesome. And now I did also want to ask you, so the dance class at school, how is that going? You're a few weeks into the semester now. Oh yeah, it's going really good. And actually, side note, people watching last week's episode, this is the thing she wanted to talk to me about. That's what she pointed it out. Oh yeah, I was like taking notes. Take a note, and then she told me that's what I was meaning to ask. You said something about it, and then I was like, no, we're not going to do it now. We're going to save it for next week. You know what? That was a good idea, because we were last week. So it is a jazz dance class, right? Yes. Yeah. I know we were talking about that the other day too. Right. Yeah. It is a jazz dance class, and it's really cool. And I've mentioned this to a few other people at our studio, is that I usually go to another, my school has multiple campuses, and the campus I usually go to with, because like I had talked about in previous episodes, is that I'm a film major, and that they most of like the performing arts and the School of the Arts classes, or just the program, School of the Arts program and department, where there's like film and theater and acting and dance and all that stuff, is all at this one campus that's further away from my house. But this semester, just because it'd be an easier commute for me this semester, I was like, let me just go to the closer campus and just take some gen eds and just get that, like, get those situated. So when I go back next semester to my other campus, the one that's further away, I can have some of my gen eds, like, just like kind of
done with at that point. And so but going back to that, like I had said, most of the performing arts kind of artsy classes, creative classes, are at the other campus that's further away. And so when I was signing up for my classes this semester, I originally picked another class because I didn't think they were going to have anything in terms of like the performing arts realm there, because they usually don't. That's not the kind of campus that it is. But then I was scrolling down like the kind of the course list, and they had each subject that you could pick from. And I obviously was curious. I looked at the other campuses' dance classes as I was just curious out of curiosity. And I was like, you know what? Like maybe they'll have one at this campus. I'm like 99% sure they won't, but let me look, because I'm wondering.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they actually had the jazz dance class at my campus this semester. And actually I took the last spot in the class, which is really funny too. So I filled up once.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Yeah, I know. So it's been a lot of fun. It's really cool. It's definitely, and I've been talking about this with a lot of other people too. It's cool because a lot of the people in the class, they have like varying dance backgrounds. There's some people that have done like, obviously like when people get into dance young, when they do like tap, jazz, ballet, all that kind of stuff. And then maybe they stopped for a little bit and now they want to get back into it. And I'm not sure if I was the only one in the class. I'm the only one in the class who has been actively dancing when the class started.
Yeah.
I might be, maybe there's a few other people, and then there's like 2 or 3 people that like have never danced before but just thought the class was interesting. So that's a kind of cool thing, because it's like a cool kind of like eclectic mix of people like that are doing the same thing, which is fun. It's interesting because what we're doing in it is a lot of like what I would think is a lot of like ballet training for people, like beginner stuff, like pointed toes stuff, and doing like the kicks in the air and the leaps and stuff like that, which is obviously
you might be doing it like a jazz style too, because there's a different way to do
jazz.
The equivalent of that whole
I think it's a lot of I think it's like I think it's the like ballet techniques in a jazz style. I think we're doing a lot of like the releves and stuff like that, and doing the turns and everything. Which is obviously we don't really do that much at the studio, because we don't really do that much. So it's definitely new for me, but it's been a lot.
We probably should be warming up and doing it. Cough, cough, because Elena's probably watching.
Oh, I know. Elena, if you're watching,
that's on us.
I know exactly. That's
we
on
always
us.
warmed up when we did those exercise classes.
Exactly, Elena. If you're watching this, we're doing it. We're like practicing all the time. Don't worry. But it's funny, you know, because I was telling I know. Excuse me. I was telling Elena this actually. It's really funny because we do this like 25 minute like workout warm up at the beginning of class before we get into dancing. And hands down, it's exactly like Elena's workout classes we did at the beginning of the year. It's like my professor teaches it the same way. She she has the same energy that Elena has. She plays the music that Elena does in it. It's like the exact same. And I told my professor that today. It was like, this reminds me so much of my instructors, like fitness classes.
But does she like hot sauce?
She might. I don't know. I haven't asked.
That's a real question.
Elena, I hope you're enjoying your hot sauce. So yeah, it's really cool. And we've been working on a lot of different things. Like I had said, we're doing a lot of just like exercises, like I feel like a lot of beginner exercises, and then we're adding kind of steps to those exercises now, since we're like or like a third of the way through the semester now. It's going to be interesting because in 2.5 weeks is our midterm, and what the midterm is we have to pick, I think 7 or 8 steps we've learned, and I think we've learned like 20 of them, and do those steps across the floor ourselves to a song that we pick. And so I think it's going to be really interesting. And actually some of them are like stuff we do in our class, which I think is pretty cool. And I think that's another reason why I'm more comfortable in that class, because it's like I do group classes every night at our studio, so I'm used to that group class setting. Dance anyway. So I feel like maybe I have like a little bit more of experience doing those kind of classes than maybe some of the other students. But it's a lot of fun. I told my instructor or my professor today, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much going on because I have the midterm and I'm competing in November, and I have like 7 routines I have to learn, or 6 routines I have to learn for November. And she's like, oh my gosh, you definitely have to show us the videos when you're like done competing. And so I'm like, yes, I'll definitely show you that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Everybody's really nice.
And then they need to listen to the podcast.
I know you guys need to listen to the podcast. I'll tell them like next week. But yeah, it's been so much fun. Everybody's really nice. I feel like I think people are still kind of getting used to that group class setting because, like I had said, I think some of them are still kind of new to it. So some people seem like more shy than others, I guess, to talking to other people. Some people just show up and then do the class and leave, and that's pretty much like it. But my professor said that usually by the end of the semester that class gets very close, like because they like you kind of grew a lot together. So I'm hoping that that's kind of the case because everybody's really nice. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad that they were offering it at my campus this year because I didn't think that they were, and it's just been a lot of fun. I have to actually send it after we're done recording the song tonight that I'm doing my midterm to. I have to like figure out which one I'm gonna do. I was funny because I've recorded like our little like routines and things we've done. And I showed Elena and she's like, oh my gosh, I love it and stuff like that. So that's been
I
pretty
haven't seen it yet either, but maybe tomorrow.
What'd you
No,
say?
I didn't see it yet either.
Oh yeah. I'll show it to you.
Tomorrow.
I'll show it to you tomorrow. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's cool. I'm learning a lot of new things that I didn't know already, and I'm getting better at things that I already did know. It's cool because I think one more thing about it is that she's like, obviously there's some vocabulary that I don't know in the class, but there's some that I do. And a lot of it's being taught like we all don't know it, or not that we all don't know it, but like that we're pretty new to it. But it's cool that I know like half the vocabulary. Like we were talking about rondes today, and like I'm like, I know what that is. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, again, it makes me feel more comfortable that I know like half the vocabulary and the things that we're doing, and it's not like I'm completely foreign to dance. I'm really happy again that they had this class because it's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad I am able to do dance off like or away from our studio as well. So like, also doing dance at our studio, but then on campus as well.
It's like a different experience too.
Right. Yeah.
So I know the other thing I wanted to ask you too. So last Saturday, the 24th, was your 1-year dance anniversary with Dance with Me. So because I know you can talk about this forever.
Yes, and I'll keep talking.
Can I say one main question?
One question, that's it.
What do you think? I think I phrased it differently than we were talking about it before we went on the call. What would you say would be the biggest thing that you're surprised that you've gotten to accomplish in the first year that you might not have thought of when you first came to the studio? It can be more than one thing, but like just the things that you
yeah, exactly. Don't go on a whole tirade about it. I understand.
I mean, it's okay. I am the same way.
I know. I love how people like listen to our podcast and like, man, you guys are exactly the same in terms of like the way you communicate. I'm like, yeah, I know, I understand. But let me think. That's hard. I made a whole long post about it on Saturday, so I could like, I know some of the things I said in that, not something that I've accomplished. Like I could say something that I've accomplished. So I can say that second, but the one thing that I would say, like just the overall kind of feeling that I'm really like fascinated of how like much that I've changed is like how much confidence I've gained like in myself, not just only as a dancer but as a person as well. That I had no idea that would have been that impactful to me when I first started. Like I had no idea. Like when I first started at the studio, I don't have to get into the whole thing, but I was like, I was obviously a commuter from school, and then like I didn't start talking to you guys and we didn't really becoming close until like the beginning of this year. So like I would pretty much show up to the studio and then kind of leave. And so I didn't really have like those communities that like I do have now. And so I felt very there was a lot of it was just a time in my life where I felt very isolated, I guess you could say. That's another reason why I felt like I really wanted to start dance, not just because I have loved dance since I was really young, as I had said before, but I also wanted to do something where I really felt like I could become the best version of myself, because I really felt like I hadn't worked on that on myself or for myself for a while, and I really wanted to like make the effort to do that. And again, just going back to the whole confidence thing, that's something I would have never thought I would have ever gotten to this level of confidence a year ago. Like I've had people that I know now and my friends that are like, oh my gosh, you're so confident now like than a year ago, and like it's so noticeable. And like the fact that people are noticing it and it's not just me feeling it is like really kind of gratifying and just cool to think about. So I'd say that in just terms of the overall feeling. But I think, also not like that I'm surprised, but just I'm very grateful that I made a lot of friends and met a lot of people through it, because as you know, dance and this ballroom dance in general, the ballroom dance community is so special, and you get to meet so many amazing people through it. Whether it's like people that you see once in a while, or like really, really close friends like we have at our studio. It's something that I'm just so grateful for, and I think that's a really cool thing that had happened. I would say there's two in terms of actual events. I would have never thought that I would have competed as much as I have in my first year, because November, I know we're going to talk about that in a minute, but November is going to be my third competition this year. And to say I've done 3 competitions in my first year of dancing is like wild to me. It's crazy, but it's been so amazing. And this November competition will be the biggest competition I've ever done and the most dance I've ever done. Plus me doing a showcase and our formation dance. So I think that's going to be just such a fun event, and I'm really excited. I think it built up like in the proper way, because like I said, my first competition was mini match, where it was just Elena and I and like 2 other people dancing in an empty studio in the city, one of our city locations, and then the judges and all the music is all virtual and stuff like that. And so I think that, because obviously you're nervous, so since it's your first competition, so that's definitely, I think that was the best way for me to start out. And like I had posted before, the team match dance at regionals in March, I was not expecting to do that, but Elena came up at one of the parties. I know, it was crazy. Elena came up to me at one of the parties, I think the party the following week after mini match. It was like our mini match celebration party or something like that. And she was like, "Oh, there's like 3 more spots in Latin for a team match, or like rhythm/Latin. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm so down." So I'm like, I'd love to do that. And we literally had 1 day to practice rhythm, because I had never done rhythm before. So this is a funny story, kind of a quick side thing, is that I was under the impression the whole week that I was competing Sunday, but then Elena looked it up and like talked to Eugene and stuff like that, and was like, "Oh, it's tomorrow." And she's like, "Oh, you're dancing tomorrow."
Oh yeah, I remember.
And that was really funny.
And then it was like a last minute switch.
Exactly. So that was fun. And then, so like I said, but that was my first time, even though it was 2 dances. It was still at a big competition hotel. It was at our competition hotel on the big floor with all the lights and all the people dancing around you. And I think that prepared me, is going to prepare me to compete in November, even though it's like in the smaller room, but still. So I would just say those things. I'd say competing is like my number one thing. And then also, again, it's not really like surprise, but I'm really happy that I got to make the music video that Elena and I got to make, because that was like a very special thing that we got to do. So yeah, I'd say those things. It's crazy to me. It's been a year. It's gone by so quickly, but I'm very excited for like many more amazing years for dance for me. It's going to be so cool. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. And even what you were saying about the confidence too, even in the time I've known you, I've seen the difference in you too. And it really, I mean, I've been with the studio 6 years. I always lose track of how many years. I have been with the studio 6 years, and I've noticed a lot of myself change with that too. And I think obviously it was like a different stage of my life and different things going on and whatever, but I think there is an underlying confidence that I know I'm still working on.
Me too.
And it's something that you just keep working on with all the different dances you're doing and different styles, and like there's always something else you can push yourself. And and it's like I had specific reasons of why I wanted to do dance too. So but I know so thank you for sharing that too.
Oh, of course.
And I wanted to make sure we got a few more things in dance, and then I know we want to make sure we get into Dancing with the Stars. So so the dance classes are changing for November. October. We're not that far yet for October. Sorry. It will change again for November.
They will. So you are technically right.
Technically right. So yes, we are keeping the contemporary class. And Elena was saying, she's like, "Well, Matthew and Camille don't tell me what they think to my face. They just tell it in the podcast. So I listen to the podcast and feedback." So yes, we're happy the contemporary class is staying in October, Elena.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Elena. We're really happy.
So we're happy with that. And then we're continuing the choreography classes for the formation dance that we're doing at the November competition. And then I think we switched out salsa for bachata,
which I think is a good idea, because the
Yeah.
reason that Elena said it is that, like, obviously I love doing salsa, and I'm sure you do too, but it's
Yeah.
like we've done it like every single month for a while since like the spring. So I feel like it would be
Yeah.
nice that like we'll get a little
Nice
bit of
change.
change for
Yeah.
bachata, and I've loved the bachata classes too. So
Yeah, I personally might not make it as much to the bachata class, just because I can't go to the group classes every night. It's just too
Yeah.
hard with my schedule, because I also have to coach at the skating rink some nights. So it's just like I need to have some nights that I'm not going out all the time after work. So but Thursday I know we're planning to do the Latin arm styling, so I'm going to
It's
try
gonna be
to
so helpful
be
for
there
me.
more.
That's my biggest weakness in my life is arms. So.
Yeah, same. I well, I have other weaknesses in my Latin too, but I should be there for the arm styling. I don't think I can come the first week, but I'm planning to go.
Okay.
And then there's the smooth class, but I mean, smooth and standard, there's some similarities. So I'll see if I stay for the smooth, just because I don't know. I always get concerned. I'm gonna get a little mixed up with standard. Because it depending on what we work on, there's some differences and some similarities. And I think now the Latin class on Friday is just going to be strictly jive. So I do have to coach at the skating rink on Friday, so I won't be there, but eventually I'll be able to come back for the group classes regularly on Fridays.
Awesome. The drive class will definitely be so helpful for me, because like I had said before, I've only been working on jive, and we have our whole jive routine done, but I've only been actually working on it for like 3 weeks at this point. So it'll be a really good kind of like preparation for me to dance jive. How many ever, like 8, 9 times at the competition. So it's definitely going to be a real big help for me to like have the specific jive class for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's I think it's a good schedule. I like that we fluctuate it periodically. So that's on the schedule for October. So we'll probably talk a little bit more about contemporary in the arm styling class, and then we'll if any other memorable moments.
Exactly. The contemporary class has been a lot of fun so far, so I think we'll have a lot more to talk about with that class. We've been doing a lot of cool things with it.
And I think just before we close out the portion talking about dance, and then we switch over to Dancing with the Stars, I think just now I know we're focusing a lot on prepping for the November competition. I have officially finalized like my schedule of what I'm signing up for and what I'm going to watch and what I'm going to participate in. So tomorrow when I go to the studio, I'm doing my first official payment on it now. So that's it. I am planning to definitely compete standard. So
I'm so happy about that.
I don't have a lesson tomorrow. I was forgetting, but so I'm planning to do that. We're working on the formation dance. I definitely want to be there to watch you compete Latin, do the showcase, and then I want to be there to watch some of our other friends are competing social for the first time. They're doing smooth for the first time, and then Latin. So I'm going to be there to spectate a lot over the weekend, and just because it is that team match portion, and we want to make sure that Glen Rock is up there, with the participation and the dances and the group dances and the showcases and the spectators and all of that. So again, I'm going to say it again, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to come watch a competition, it is in Jersey City. I can give you all the details, the dates, the times, the whatever. If you would like to come watch, just message us and we will tell you, and you are coming through a ticket through Team Glen Rock. Okay. So you just let us know. But any other prep for the November comp for you that you wanted to and then we'll shift gears.
Exactly. I know we've talked a lot about our dance, but we've had a lot going on, so it's understandable. But I'm really, like, just like you had mentioned, just all the stuff that I actually officially signed up. When did I say? Tuesday. I officially signed up Tuesday. I actually officially like made everything, like all of my schedule and what I'm doing and all the dances I'm doing and stuff. So that's really exciting that I actually have that like on paper now and stuff. So it's really cool. I am doing, like you said, I'm doing Latin on Sunday, which is going to be exciting. And then Saturday and Sunday are going to be a really like just like busy day just because Sunday or Saturday, I think it's like after it's rhythm, right? Rhythm and smooth, or just rhythm on Saturday?
I think Friday's rhythm. Saturday's just smooth, and then the formation dance, and then the showcase.
And showcase. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm definitely going to be there. Most likely Friday, some Thursday. I definitely want to see you compete. And then
Friday, then I have to work.
So exactly.
I'm going Thursday and then work Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday I'll do
I'm just trying to figure out with school, but I'm definitely going to try to be there. I definitely want to go see you compete. on Thursday, and then Friday I'm going to be there a little bit. Saturday is going to be busy days because, like we said, we're going to go watch probably Smooth most of the day, and then and then we're doing formation dance, and I'm doing my showcase dance, which actually Elena said we're going to start working on in my next private lesson, which is really exciting. Next week, which would be exciting, and then all day or pretty much half the day Sunday, we're going to be doing Latin. So that's pretty much just working on all that stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. Again, like you had said, I think it's kind of just a plus that we're all going to get to be together and all get to watch each other and support each other. I think that will be actually a huge like help for all of us and give us that confidence to be like, oh, I have all our friends here and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be really fun. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm working on. Yes.
Team Glen Rock.
Yes. You know what? I'm saying it right now. I don't care. We're winning the team match. We're gonna win the team match.
I hope we're not jinxing.
I don't hope we're not jinxing the
want us to win.
But all of our instructors say we're gonna win. They're all saying it flat out. So it's like I'm just saying the same thing.
I think we've just won. I personally have been saying this since August of 2019. I was like, we're winning 2020, and then we saw what happened. But now we are winning.
We are winning. Yes, that's right.
Okay. Exactly. All right. Okay. On to Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, on to Dancing with the Stars. Let's do it.
Okay, so on to Dancing with the Stars. Episode 2 was Elvis Night.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts?
Oh, I thought it was amazing. I know the first thing I want to say is that opening number was like so great. I loved it so much. It was so good. Like, I watched it the first night. I was like, wow, they went like all out for it. And it was really fun. I just thought it was so good. And like, as most people probably saw, all the male pros dressed up as Elvis. And obviously they had Gleb as the main one. That was so awesome. I thought that was so cool. And
the wig,
and he had the face down and everything. And then they had all the pros and the troop members come around and everything like that and do a whole dance, like a whole choreographed routine on the floor. And they were all going around and getting on the judges table and everything. So they were just so great, and it was so much fun. And I thought it was just such high energy, and again they all did great. I thought the choreography was amazing and everything. So I just wanted to point that out. I really love the opening number.
I agree. Okay, do you want to start us off with so I know last week we kind of did like the top dances and the honorable mentions. So if you want to start us off, which was maybe just going from like in the dance order, which was your first top dance or honorable mention as we went down?
Okay, do you want to start with honorable mentions and then go to the top dances, because the top dances are kind of like the ones.
Let's do that. Let's do the honorable mentions. I think you were saying you had more of those this time.
Yes, I do have more of those.
Yeah, go ahead.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. So what'd you say?
Who was your first step?
Oh, okay. So yeah, my first one is Daniel and Britt. And they did a jive to King Creole, and I thought it was really good. And again, because he was in actually my top dance, one of my top dances last week, but now he's in one of my honorable mentions. And it's not like I don't think he did like, I think he improved, but again, it was a little bit, I felt like it was a little different than the tango he did last week. I felt, I said in my notes that he has those Elvis moves down. He is like so comfortable, like we talked about last week. He's so confident, and I said I absolutely love his confidence. You can tell, even though he can't hear, like he's just so confident, and he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go out and do this. And I think that's just so cool and just so inspiring. I said I'm really impressed with how good his musicality is. Like he's on time with the music, which I think is great. I just like the choreo could have showcased him a little bit more. That's kind of was my thought. Like not like knocking Britt's choreography, because I absolutely loved it, but I just think that like it was a lot of like, it wasn't a lot of like partnering stuff. It was kind of like maybe one of them doing something at like times, and I feel like it could have showcased him a little bit more. That's why it's more of my honorable mentions now, but I still really liked it. And I said at the at the bottom of it is that my notes is that I feel like Britt is doing such a fantastic job with him. I think it's amazing. And I said that like now we see actually that she actually has learned a little bit of ASL for him, which I think is like amazing. And it's so like great and just like kind of just so respectable that she's doing that. And then like you see in the rehearsals that like she's actually doing, like obviously Gabe is still there and the main kind of like interpreter, but like if she has something that she needs to kind of communicate, she's learned at least a little bit of how to like communicate with him, which I think is so awesome that she really that she took the time and is still taking the time to do that. I think she's amazing. And they got 3 sevens and an 8. I think that was a pretty fair score. Yeah, and I just really excited to see him continue because I really enjoy him. Again, it's not me kind of like me having him in my top dances last week and in the honorable mentions. It's not because I like the dance any less. I just feel like the choreography kind of incorporated him a little bit more. That was my feeling, at least.
Yeah, so he was one of my honorable mentions as well. I think just the tango definitely benefited him because the close hold of the of the frame, I think, just helped him to stay connected with Britt, and it helped him to really like own the dance. I think he did a great job for the jive. I mean, like you said, his timing was great, and he needs to work on his kicks a little bit, but I think it was a great performance. And I loved the clip, like when they were practicing and his moms came there and they were all dancing, and I was like, oh gosh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, I mean, listen, I think just, you don't have to be like nail it every week. I mean, I think obviously within the first 2 weeks he's really shown that he's a contender.
Yes.
So yeah, so that was I'm in agreement. But
exactly.
Who else did you have?
So my next honorable mention was Heidi and Artem. And they danced a foxtrot to Sisters Minds. I actually love that version that they danced to. And they had talked about at the beginning of last week, or when she was getting her scores last week, and they really kind of had like posted, or they had really kind of like honed in on it this week. And I saw that she posted a YouTube video that I watched a little bit of. I didn't realize she had a YouTube channel, but apparently she does. But I apparently she posted something like my first week of dancing with a soul or something like that, and it was made known that she was very close to kind of quitting the show the first week because she was very that's what she said, is that she just felt very burnt out, and the rehearsals, the last few rehearsals were just so taxing on her mentally that she was like, you know what? I don't know if I could do this anymore. And I wrote that I am so glad that she decided to keep going because she's a really, really good dancer. I really love her dancing. I think her lines and arms were fantastic. I thought she was like really just fluid. And I said that she's very comfortable dancing, and with that dance in particular, I feel like she's gonna get more confident and comfortable as the weeks go on. I thought her frame was really good, and I loved Artem's choreo, and I'm really excited to see more of her. I love the blue that they were going on, like the blue outfits that they had. I thought that was really cool. And I definitely can see why. Like if someone hasn't, because I remember she had talked about in her package in last week at the premiere or during the premiere that she hasn't danced competitively for like, I think since she was like Charlie's age or a little bit like older than that. So it's been a long time. So I think kind of getting back into doing those rehearsals all the time, and they're rehearsing like 10 to 12 hours a day for dancing with the stars. So it's a long time, and it's probably like,
it's her and her daughter doing it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not like they have, I mean, I know they've like she's like skyrocketed just to fame, but it's not like they have, like it's still her mom and her daughter. It's like she's got to also think about Charlie too. I mean, like Charlie can be very self-sufficient, and obviously like the people, the handlers on the show and whatever, but it's like they're both going through it. I didn't watch the video. I didn't know she had one. I mean, personally, I didn't have her in one of my honorable mentions per se, just like comparatively, but I did think technically the dance looked good. It didn't wow me. Like she did really well the first week. I'm not like,
for me is I added her in my honorable mentions at the last minute. That was kind of I watched the dance again, and that's when I decided. So she wasn't in my honorable mentions at the first time I watched it, but I watched it again. I was like, you know what, I did like the dance a lot, so I'll put it. So that was kind of my thought. But
did you have any other honorable mentions, or were those the?
I have let me count 1, 2, 3. I have 3 more.
Okay. Who do you? All right, go to your next one. I was like checking the order.
Oh, okay.
Okay, who's next? Honorable mentions.
Okay, so next is actually another person that I had in my top dances last week was Jordan and Brandon. I go back. The scores I thought for Huddy and Other were fair, so they got a 28. So I thought they were decent. But for Jordan and they were in my Jordan and Brandon in my next honorable mention. They danced a lot of quick steps in this episode. And they danced it to Hound Dog, which is funny because I would think, obviously, Hound Dog can be a quick step, but I always associate it with a jive or swing. So I think that's just kind of like Because whenever we play Hound Dog in the studio, we're always doing Drive to It. So I just found that was pretty cool that they incorporated Quick Step for that
Yeah.
song.
Well,
Um,
and Margaret's showcase was to Hound Dog. One
oh
of
yeah, that's
our
right.
friend
Yeah,
Margaret.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I was like, oh my gosh, I just keep thinking of her.
I
Showcase.
know. I just said she's so fun. She just has again that performance quality where she's just like always going like full out for it, and she has the facial expressions, and
Yeah.
she's just so amazing. And I think her performative quality is really does stand out. I said the outfits were amazing. I kind of like that like old school 50s style that they were going.
Yeah.
It looked really cool in that in his Elvis wardrobe. I thought that was pretty cool. I had said, as I mentioned before, I felt like her and Brandon's partner, like the partnering was perfectly cast. I feel like they could have not made a better like pairing
Yeah.
than the two of them, because I've seen like their Instagram lives. They're like so similar in terms of personality. And I think that's just like makes it that just makes it perfect for them to be dancing together. I said the energy was great and the performance aspects were great. I said her frame and legs looked at the beginning were very good. I just felt like, and I heard a lot of people recapping this as well, said that I felt like she got kind of tired towards the end, and it kind of felt like he was just backing her along a little bit, because it didn't seem like she was really like, again, her energy just wasn't going forward much, and it doesn't really matter. I know Quick Step's probably a very tiring dance, but I said I can't wait to see what she does next week, and I really like the dance overall.
Yeah, I also didn't have her in my honorable mentions either, but I mean, she did okay. I just think that her foot position totally wasn't like completely clean looking, but like her timing was good, which I think is very important for Quick Step. And the performance quality was great. So like I think compared to like last week, I was kind of like, okay, this wasn't, it was good.
Like I think it was good, but I think I actually enjoyed the cha-cha better.
Yeah, I thought she did better last week. Yeah,
me too.
But I mean, it's only week 2, so they have.
Yeah, so I'm not going to knock her. I think she will improve. That's another thing I said. I think improve.
Yeah, she's still
she's down going to improve. So yeah.
Okay. Next honorable mention. Who do you have?
All right. Next one. This is actually Vinny and Coco. They're my next.
I also have them.
Yes. Again, score for Jordan and everything are in Brandon good. I didn't think it's necessary. I have to say it, but I've heard all these podcasts recapping the score, so I thought that was fair. Most of the ones I say I think were fair. But Vinny and Coco, and they danced another Quick Step to Viva Las Vegas. And my first thing I wrote, it was in all caps, OMG Vinny, because I was like, I said hands down, he was the most improved from the whole cast from the first week. There's no question in my mind that he was the most improved from the whole cast from the first week. There's just a lot about it. I said I loved Coco's choreo, and I've heard from other people that she mostly does like Latin and kind of like contemporary and all that kind of stuff. Like she hasn't done, I think, a lot of Smith and Standard from what I've heard. So and obviously professional dancers can kind of come up with choreography for different dances pretty quickly, I think. But I loved her choreo. I thought it was so fun and just really cool. I said his frame looked pretty decent. Obviously, I don't like. Obviously, it's not going to look the best, but I thought it looked decent. I thought his legs looked really energetic and really good and solid. It was funny. I wrote this in my notes. I said they both look so happy and relieved during the judges' comments last when they were getting the scores. Like I feel like Coco was like almost about to start getting emotional, because what I also
rough last week.
Like, I think last week was very hard for both of them. I think they really tried to keep like their composure and just be really strong through it. But I remember they did like an Instagram live, and also they interviewed them in their package, and Coco was like, "Oh, how did the judges' comments make you feel?" And I felt like he was really embarrassed by them. I really felt like it hit him hard, because and that's really sad to me. Like obviously, I know he obviously could improve, but I felt like, again, it was a little. I think it was a little too harsh in my opinion, like we talked about, and I feel like that really impacted him. But I said I can't wait to see what he does next week, and I really love the wardrobe. It was really great. Good. I love the choreography. I think Coco's choreography really encapsulated both of them doing something at the same time. So they both came together as one, in my opinion. I really love that.
Yeah. I definitely think his frame was good, and then his legs could be sharper, but
I agree. Yeah.
That's a common thing. But
yeah, exactly. If you're not a dancer,
did you have any other honorable mentions, or those were all of them?
I have one more.
Okay, let's see if it's the same one. It's fine.
So I'm not really sure if you have that. My next one, my last honorable mention is Joseph and Alexis. I don't know if that's
no, that wasn't mine. But I I still have comments on theirs. I'll tell you mine.
Do you want to say yours first then?
No, you say yours first, and then we'll go.
Okay. So, and again, I had him in my honorable mention last week as well, because I was very impressed with his with he and Daniela's drive last week, because I have a lot.
Mine too.
As I had seen, as I had seen, a lot of people said this, with him being so big and so muscular and everything, they thought that his drive was going to be very very stompy and not having a lot of control at all. But he surprisingly did very decent to me, and I felt like he was just I felt like he really intrigued me. It was kind of like the same thing with Amon last season. And I love the choreography that they did. So going back to Joseph and Alexis, and the reason I'm saying Alexis and not Daniela, I know a lot of Dancing with the Stars fans probably know this, but Daniela had tested positive for COVID the morning of on Monday, the morning of show day, and it's crazy to me. And this is, I think, another reason, not just because obviously I'll get to my thoughts on the dance in a minute, and that's partly the reason why I put in my honorable mentions, but also just kind of the impressive feat that they pulled off with this, which I thought was very impressive. They did dance Avini's Waltz, to If I Could Dream, and I love that version. I thought the version was really cool, and I thought it fit the kind of vibe very well. And I've mentioned this before. Alexis Ward, she's one of the troop dancers this season, but she just won. She's the reigning champion of So You Think You Can Dance as of like a month ago. She won about a month ago, and that was cool because I got to see her do a lot of different styles of dance on that show, because that's obviously what that show calls for. So it was cool to kind of see. I think she's mainly trained in ballroom, so that's why obviously I think she does very well in ballroom. But I saw her do like contemporary and hip hop and different things on that show as well. And I think the thing that was most impressive to me is that she found out 7 hours before the show that Daniela was not going to dance and that she was going to take her place. And she learned the dance 5 hours before that they went live. And she said they only had 5 or 6 times to practice it. And then they went on the live show. I thought that was very impressive to me, because Daniela posted on her Instagram, their camera blocking day performance, and it showed the same kind of thing we saw on the live show, but just with her on when they did camera blocking. And it looked like Alexis had known the dance from the beginning, in my opinion. It didn't seem like she was rushed in any way. And I really think that really showcased her talent. And I've seen a lot of people say this. They would really love for her to be a pro at some point, and I would love for her to be a pro too. I think she'd be a great pro.
Yeah, same.
I think she would be a fantastic pro. So hopefully at some point of Dancing with the Stars people will make her a pro, because I think she would be great. But going with the dance, I was saying I really give props to him for adapting to a new partner very quickly, because I feel like that was probably very difficult, because obviously he's so used to leading in Dancing with Daniela. And the fact that I'm not really sure how much he probably even interacted with Alexis, because she probably sticks with the troop stuff and doesn't really interact with, so he probably didn't do that much. But that really impressed me, and I felt like he led her very well. I felt like he did a lot of intentional leading with her, which I thought was very good. I said, and I've seen a lot of people comment on this, that I feel like everything out of hold looked very, very good, or at least decent. And I thought the arms, just like last week, looked very good and had a lot of good fluidity to them. I definitely said I think his frame and being in hold was a little bit more challenging for him, which is why, again, that's why it's also in my honorable mentions, just because I definitely think he can improve, but I definitely think he will. And I love Daniela's choreo, and I'm still very intrigued by him. I think he's definitely going to get better. There's just something about him. I said last week, I think we're going to see something with him in terms of him getting better and more comfortable and more confident. So that was my thought on it. And I wonder if Daniela is going to be back next Monday. I'm assuming she will, because
I don't know what the policy is for the quarantine at this point, because they said she was asymptomatic. So
I think what she said was, I remember she posted an Instagram story about it. She said she had the test negative, and then she had the quarantine, which I'm assuming the quarantine is probably a few days. But the thing is that Tuesday she tested positive again, and I saw Alexis and him were rehearsing together for next week. but then he was with Daniela today on Thursday. So maybe
Oh,
maybe the
so maybe
quarantine
at least she just started it out just to
just
see if
started
he
it.
says
Yeah.
some stuff over
But yeah,
the
those were
night.
my thoughts on it. I just thought, like I said, I thought,
Yeah.
like again, I thought there were some qualities in the dance that he did very well. I thought obviously
Mhm.
there were some things he could work on, but I thought it was just very impressive. Obviously for Joseph and Alexis to adapt, for obviously with Alexis
Yeah.
learning to dance so quickly, and then Joseph adapting to a new partner so quickly. I thought that was very impressive to me. So that's why I put it in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I agree with everything you said. Like, shout out to him for just like stepping in and working with Alexis, and like, and her also for like learning it so quickly. And I think it's like the dancers, they can typically do it to
Yeah.
learn it quickly, but like I think for Joseph to be able to deal with it, and then it learn that it shows that he like learned how to lead her, because
Yeah.
then it was able to help him like, oh well, this is the routine, and like I know what I'm doing enough
Yeah.
that she can kind of just step back and follow, and she doesn't really need to like lead him
Yeah.
leading her. And I think, you know, he definitely needs to work on the frame, but
Yeah,
like
I agree.
again, different person now, like in this last like 5 hour window.
Yeah.
And I think the one difference with like him and versus Aman is like Aman was like very tall, but he was
Right.
very like, not that he's not muscular, but he was very like lanky, whereas
Yes.
like Joseph was like a bodybuilder, so his
Yes.
like muscles are big. So like if his arms are like down more, I feel like it's more obvious because it's like his arms are more dense, whereas like Aman's
Yeah.
like he learned to stretch it out and it was more stretched
Yeah.
out, where it's like I don't know.
And
So there's a thing that there's like a visual thing that
Yeah.
happens with that, like of the muscular, like being more muscular versus like being like lanky or
Yeah.
by comparison. But no, I mean it's the first time he's doing this.
Yeah. And
Like,
I feel like Daniela's probably tall. From what I saw, Alexis doesn't seem like she's that tall.
no,
So
she
I
doesn't
feel
look
like
that tall.
I feel like he's
So
way
that doesn't help.
like it probably makes it harder for him to lead
Like,
her, and that's another
he's
thing.
down.
Yeah, I think Daniela's
cutting
more
out of
his
the
height or closer to his height. I think so. That's how we just again.
Yeah.
I think that it was
Yeah.
very impressive that he was able again just
Yeah.
to lead her, because my impression during the dance is that it wasn't like she was doing all the work. I could see that he was leading her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. So that's why
Yeah.
I put it in my honorable mentions, just because I thought it was very impressive. Plus,
And
like
the reason I was starting to laugh before was because you were saying like there's just something about it. And I'm just like, is it his butt? Because that's what Bruno
that's
noticed.
what Bruno said. And I love that he talked about it, and he was like, okay, Bruno,
I mean,
hang
you're
on.
looking at my butt.
You're looking at my butt. He was like, I absolutely am. That was so funny.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
Bruno so much.
I was like trying to work it into what you said before, but I was like,
No, you know what?
I was laughing.
thinking
I'm
about
like,
it
no,
too.
no.
I had that in my notes as well, but I love Bruno. He's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Those are all yours. The only additional one that I had
Let
was
me guess.
Jesse and Alan.
Oh, okay.
And who did the foxtrot. And
Right.
I think again, she was another one that was like major improvement from the previous week.
Yeah, I agree.
think like Vinny had the biggest
Yes.
change in improvement. Also Jesse's son was wearing the Elvis outfit, and it was
Oh, I know, that was so cute.
So cute. And then I really just felt like Len, you know, what did I say? Len gave her a really nice compliment about her frame and legs, which I definitely agreed with. And I agreed with all the judges' comments, and it was a huge improvement from last week. And she was the first one for the night, so I don't know if it was just because I just like I was very impressed, and I just felt like the whole way that her intro package went and everything she said about it, it was like very intentional. Like I am here to improve, and I was like, this is good for her.
Yes, I agree.
So,
I think that was great.
Do you want to start with your top dances?
Yes, I can start with my top dance.
Okay, go ahead.
So I actually, it's funny that I probably would have saved this for last, but it's like it's first on my list. Going up from my honorable mentions. So my first top dance is Gabby and Val. Of course, like I put like the emotional emoji, because like I'm telling you, I almost got emotional watching that, and I don't get emotional much. And she danced the Viennese waltz to Can't Help Falling in Love, and I absolutely love that version of that song. I've heard that version of that song a lot of times, and I absolutely adore it. And I said she absolutely killed it. It was really, really good. I said I feel like her performative dancing skills, like she had talked about in the premiere or at the premiere last week, really have been shown these first 2 weeks, but I'm really seeing the technical side of her come out as well. Like I really feel like the technical side that she says she doesn't have much experience in. I'm definitely seeing that out of her. And that really makes me so happy. I said that choreo by Val was absolutely amazing. I love his choreo. It was so good. Her arms and lines and frame, what I thought were just so good. I thought she just honestly glided across the floor just so effortlessly, and she just looked really happy. and I was really happy
Yeah.
with that. I love the outfits. The whole yellow thing was just like, I thought it fit the overall vibe of it very well. And I said when Eric showed up, that made me really happy. He's so supportive. That was so, you know what?
Oh,
That
me
reminds,
too.
I know that made me so happy. I know it obviously not, they're not together anymore, but it kind of reminded me of the whole Vanessa and Nick thing, because when he danced on the show, she came like she like was standing on the side of the stage and he danced with her like the last 15 seconds.
Oh yeah. I think about that.
But it seems like they do that sometimes with Bachelor people.
Yeah.
That made me so happy. I was like, we talked about that last week. I was like, is Eric going to be in the audience? I'm like, yes. And
well, we knew about the audience, but then I don't know if they told Gabby. Did they even tell Gabby? Did Val just plan that with him to come on the stage?
He might have, because he was in the package too.
Like that. Yeah.
No,
well,
yeah.
I think he was in the package because they announced the premiere, so they were finally able to be like,
exactly.
Okay,
yeah,
this is exciting now. We can like, it was a good song choice for her.
Yeah.
Because of that. Yeah.
And that's my point, is that's why, and I knew that's why he was in the package. I just think it was cool that like he was like, oh, how about you try dancing with her? And I thought that was so cute.
Yeah.
And he just seems so supportive of her. I know we talked about this like on the all like recapping this season, is that I really feel like they're so supportive of each other, and I just absolutely love that. And that made me really happy that he was there, and he was there. I thought that was
No, 100%. I think, and I just loved like, and Val was hugging him too.
Yes, I know, that was so amazing. That was so sweet.
So cute. So yeah, I mean, she did really well. I thought the dance was great. No, and I'm happy for Gabby too, and Eric. And I think, obviously like a lot, even just like started to come out more after the premiere last week, and they just talked about, I know we talked about with like Caitlin talking about them not bringing stuff up, and I listened to the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, and it was filmed before they did the After the Final Rose, but I swear there's a point to this. No, I just felt like the way that Gabby was articulating a lot of like, the challenges that her and Eric have already had to go through, that they're working through together, and like they're committed to each other. And I think this is just another example of like him being supportive. And I think that like obviously some of the things that have happened, like even in the public eye, they're not great, and they don't look great. I think she's talked openly about how she's trying to make sure she's holding him accountable, and they're working together, and like understanding the importance of how these things are important. And I don't think he's shying away from any of the hard work to improve himself. So like I'm not concerned about them. And I think this is just was a nice way to show that, like in the dance, in Dancing with the Stars now. So
exactly. So yeah, I love that.
About that too.
Yeah, I know exactly. I absolutely agree with everything you said. I thought the dance was fantastic, like we had both said. It was just so amazing, and I'm so excited because Val, they said like they do all those press interviews after the show. And Val had said that they're doing a cha-cha next week, so that's gonna be really exciting for them to see her do. I think again that'll bring her back kind of like to that Latin like feisty performative thing. Where I think she's gonna really shine in that dance too. So I'm really excited to see them do the cha-cha next week.
I just hope we keep going back and forth. But
exactly, me too.
Oh my gosh. All right. Who else did you have as one of your top dances?
Okay. So my next top one is Wayne and Whitney. And I said they were tied with Val, Gabby and Val and Charlie and Mark for the top 32. And I put in parentheses that some people thought was overscored.
Wayne and Whitney's
was overscored.
I kept teetering on whether or not I wanted a top or an honorable mention.
I could see why they were thinking of that, or why they would think that, but I thought it was really that good. That's why I thought it was fair.
I think they were holding off on giving Charlie a 9, but that's another story. Keep going about Wayne and Whitney.
Okay, So Wayne and Whitney did a jive to Burning Love, and then the last dance of the night too. And I just thought he was great. I really thought he was really good. Again, he's a natural born performer and is meant to be on stage. That's what I wrote. I think he's just so comfortable being in front of people and performing in front of people. And like Derek said, I think he had the best jive / kicks of the night. I don't think there's any question about that, at least to me.
I think out of the jives, I definitely agree.
I think he was the best. I said I loved Whitney's choreo. I've always loved, like I said, I love all her choreo, but I think her choreography for Latin, like I had said last week, I absolutely have loved, and especially her jives. I've loved her jive choreos. They've been amazing. I said he has so much energy, and that I love that he just again goes out and just gives 100% every single time. And I think that's amazing. And I said I'm really excited to see what he does next. And I think there's no question that he's going far. That's just my guess.
I think his kicks were good. I think his knees could have been a bit straighter, but like, I mean, who's couldn't? And I think the only thing is, and the choreography was great. I just feel like I always try to look at it from like Len's perspective of looking for like the actual technical. And I think there could have been a little bit more partner work.
Yeah.
Just to like strengthen it a bit, because it's
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's hard to do jive fast alone, especially. It's hard to do jive fast with the partner. But the point is, I feel like you need to show the balance of both. And it's like he has enough dance training that he could probably do the jive by himself. But I wanted to see a little bit more partner work. I think just his overall presence and performance quality really helped boost the score. I don't think it was like severely unfair, but
I mean,
I definitely
oh my gosh, you didn't deserve it.
Feel like it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I felt like at least Gabby and Val and I felt like Gabby and Charlie's like were like closer, comparatively, and it was like whatever. I mean, it all boils down to the voting a lot of the time anyway, but
exactly.
But it's fine. I mean, we know he's going for, like, there's no question about it, and it's like whatever. I just we'll see.
I definitely think he's going to improve too.
Yeah. Okay, who else did you have as top?
So I have two more, and actually one of them is a surprise. That's actually a surprise one that I was not expecting to put in my top one.
I think I have like one more. All right, go ahead, keep going.
Oh, you do? Okay.
No, but you go. Well, who's your next one?
Okay, so my next one, I'll save the surprise for last, because again, I don't think a lot of people will be expecting it. So my next one is Charlie and Mark. No.
Oh yeah, this is the non-surprise.
Non-surprise. Yeah, I'm gonna do my non-surprise or last, or my non-surprise now, and keep the surprise to later, because again, people won't be expecting it. So my next one, like I said, is Charlie and Mark. Obviously, there's no surprise there. They did the quick step to Bossa Nova Baby, and they've done quick steps to that song before on the show, which I really like. And I thought she killed it. I thought she was so good, and I said that her performance quality, like facial expressions, all that is just so good. Just like in the show last week, she just seems very confident and comfortable dancing, and I feel like that it seems like she's very happy that she got back into dancing. I think that's something, again, like she said, she really wanted to do, and I think that she's really happy that she did that. Glenn was talking about how sometimes her neck could be a little wonky. I remember, but I did agree with that. But I said,
like Hazel was talking about, like,
exactly.
It's an application of what we're learning.
What we're learning. Yes. So what we're watching and what we're learning, same thing. Yes. So I definitely agree with what Len said about that. But but other than that, I thought she was fantastic. I said hands down, she's going far. There's just no question about it. And it's great. Like I said,
last favorite now.
I think
the bottom line.
Like I know, like I said, it's hard for me to like say this is who's gonna win, because like I said, if I had to pick a top 3 or 4, it would probably be oh, wait a minute. Oh, I do have 2 more after this one. So you're right. I was like, okay, because I was about to say I was like I didn't talk, because I had one more here. I mean, I was thinking of somebody else when I was about to make this comment, and I'm like, I didn't talk about them yet. So that made me right. So I'm glad I thought about that. But like I had said, I'm really excited to see her do a ballroom dance. Or it was really good to see her do a ballroom dance, like I had said. Because like I said, obviously, I feel like Latin social dancing can be a little bit more like closer to TikTok dancing than the traditional like smooth standard. So it was good to see her do that. I thought her frame was decent. Most of the dance were pretty good. Again, going back to the whole finalist thing, it's hard to really like say, because I have like an idea of who the top 4 will be, just because things can change and we've had surprises like in the recent seasons and stuff like that. But I just feel like if you have to make kind of just an educated guess based on just dance ability, like fans, people like their fan following and everything, I think Charlie would definitely have to be at number 1 because of how big she is in terms of popularity, and she's a very good dancer. So but that was my thought on their choreography. I'm assuming they're in yours too.
She was in my top ones. I thought it was like a great mix of choreography too. Like I just felt like it was like the style kept changing, like, and that's that's just like to Mark, and she can do it. So that's also great for her. I just was like looking at her frame and I felt like her left arm was down. And I said to David, I'm like, David, can you watch it and tell me if her left arm looks down or if it's just me? Because I saw what he said about the neck, but I just kept going back to the arm. I mean, this is me being picky. Like it's like the first time she's doing it. I'll be interested to see when she does like a slower dance too, because quick step is still like fast,
it's still
and
fast, yeah,
lively. So I'll be interested to see that. But yeah. So okay, who do you have next?
Okay, so here's I'll save my surprise for last. So
okay.
Oh, again, now I realize that you're right. I have the same amount as you. I have 3 left. That's so funny. It's like I just didn't scroll up. I was starting. I started at the bottom of my list, so that's why I didn't figure it out. So that's
I have 3 left. I think you have
okay, cool. So we probably have the same 3 then. So my next one is Sangela and Gleb, and they did a quick step to shake, rattle, and roll. I love the concept of the dance, like with the car, like the old 50s, like that. I thought that was so cool and just really cute. I said that she absolutely killed it, and I really love her personality. I love it, like she, like in her packages, she's like, you know what, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna be me, and I'm like, I'm gonna be confident in everything. I just love just that personality she has, and just the confidence. It's just so like it like flows off to everybody else, and everybody else loves it and feeds off of it. So I just love that, and I love the routine and the choreo. I thought Gleb did an amazing job with the choreography. I thought there was a lot of like you said, I feel like there was a lot of partner work, but then also there was stuff where they did stuff on their own, which I liked that as well. I thought the frame and the legs looked really good. I remember people making the comment about them being a little bit off timing in the music. And I definitely did agree with that, but I feel like it wasn't as noticeable that much. So if you weren't like watching that closely, I feel
big deal.
No, I know about it.
I didn't even notice.
I didn't even notice it. You know what? That's a good point. I didn't notice it until they pointed it out. So I was like, okay. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think if I had to bank on it right now, I think Sangela is going to be in the top 4. That's my
yeah, I agree. I think the salsa last week was like a smidge better.
Oh, I agree.
Like, but it was pretty comparable. I just felt like the judge made such a big deal about one mistake, but it was amazing. The dance was great. So okay. So who is your next one?
All right, so I got 2 more for top dances. So my next one is Selma and Sasha. And they danced a jive to Jailhouse Rock, and I thought it was really great. This is like in the middle of my notes, I was like, come on girl, she did that cartwheel into a split, and I'm like, let's go. I'm like,
my signature move.
I know, yeah, exactly, that is your signature move.
I was like,
yes, let's go. I thought that was awesome. I don't know if a lot of people were talking about this, and again, it's interesting because I see a lot of actually people that they did, not that they didn't like it, but they thought it was different, because I feel like because of it was slower, it was a slower jive.
I think they put a little bit the rhythm down. I mean,
and I understand it's understandable. I just saw people commenting. I saw a lot of people commenting on that reason. So
yeah, I mean, I think honestly, she was wearing flats and they had the slower timing, and not for nothing with her condition. I think
it makes total sense
from a safety precaution. I mean, because I'm sure some people could be like, oh well, no, like that jive is still fast.
Yeah, that
okay, and it's a safety issue for her to be in those heels, I think, especially like this far like into the competition. You know, I don't know how, you know, how much she even wears heels in her regular day-to-day life. So I think the point is about learning the dance. The point is not
I don't think about the speed at all.
Yeah, I think it was still she kept up, you know.
She kept up. I thought the choreo was great. I love the outfits. I love the way that the again, just the overall like kind of the setting of the dance looked. I thought it was really cool. I thought her kicks were really decent. Actually, I probably put her kicks like second in terms of the jives, at least that me after Wayne's. But again, they probably have to ask her and say, hey, like, what can you push yourself to? And like, they're not going to push it because again, they don't want anything happening to her, obviously.
No.
And like, and like you can't push the limits with something like that. So obviously you want to take this, like the safety precautions, everything, like, whether it's the speed of the dance or the heels and stuff like that. So again, but the point is learning the dance. And I think Sasha's choreo really like adapted to that. And I just really liked it. I really thought it fitted her well. And again, she did the dance great, in my opinion. So again, whether people want to say it was slow or not, like I don't think, and I really don't think, like, if you aren't like really paying attention to the dance, like this timing being slower, it's like
it's still a fast dance.
It's still a fast dance.
She still
Yeah,
performed it.
exactly. She still performed it. She did the cartwheel on the split. Like, I'm just saying, like, she did really good. It wasn't like that. It was like, oh my gosh, it was so slow and she didn't do anything. She did so much in the dance. So I thought it was great. That was my opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was pretty much the same with all that. Okay, last top dance.
Last top dance.
I think we have the same.
I'm interested to see if it's the same. And
it probably is.
It probably is. And it's funny because, again, this is the surprise, because I would have never thought that I'd put these people or this couple in my top this week, but it's Trevor and Emma. Yep, same one. Yep. And again, I'm really surprised that I put them in my top, but they really deserved it.
100%.
And they did a rumba to Always on My Mind, and I thought it was just great overall. Again, kind of setting and the colors and everything, and then the wardrobe and stuff like that looked great. But in terms of the dance, I thought the choreo by Emma was absolutely fantastic. It was so good, and I just thought it was just so amazing. And I put right here, I said, "Mr. I am scared of dancing who?" Like, I'm like, come on. It's like he says, I'm like I have this phobia of dancing in the premiere last week, and these last two dances he's done really good. It's the first time.
I'm just like, well, that's the thing that cracks me up. Like, so my mom, when we were watching it and I was explaining, I'm like, Mom, like, that's like open gold Roomba. Like the way the steps, like when I was like showing her, I'm like, because that's the point. It's like, that's how you have to perform it. Like, he's an actor. So that's what they were like, how much of it is acting and how much, whatever. And then he's like, well, there's always proof behind, whatever. I don't know, this whole thing. I mean, Carrie Ann was like, they're like, oh my gosh, everybody at home is like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wait, am I the only one that's really just sitting here actually admiring just their technical and their performance?
No, I know, I'm saying that too.
And I was like, meanwhile, Carrie Ann's like, oh,
I know.
And I'm like, wait, no, but like, I'm actually really just admiring the technique and the performance.
No, I know.
I mean, good for him. That was really, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that watched the episode. It might be a surprise based on like, if you're just listening to us, you were probably like, what? But no, exactly. It was amazing. It was really good.
It was really good. I agree. And it was cool because a lot of the steps in Emma's choreography is in a lot of my rumba routine too. So I was like, oh, hey, I do that in my routine. So that was kind of cool. That's the cool thing about watching the show. When you're a dancer, like you talked about, you see things that you do as dancers on the show. So that's pretty cool. But I said, it looks like he's getting really comfortable or more confident and really more comfortable with his dancing, which really makes me happy. I said the one little tip I'd like critique, if I had to say, is maybe like work on his hip action a little bit more, make it a little bit more fluid. But I would say that. But besides that, and I said that especially for Latin, but besides that, and that's something he could easily like work on. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And again, I'm surprised. I would have never thought coming into this episode he'd be in my top dance, but like we both said, he absolutely 100% hands down deserved it. So,
and if he was able to deliver that on a week 2, like he will really dive more into the Latin dances and like the whole like hip action and all that. But
exactly right. I thought it was so good.
So I think the other just memorable things from the episode, and we covered most of the dances actually, just between everybody. I think just for me, like comments, like other comments. I mean, Cheryl and Louis did their tango. I thought it was okay. I think I just wish there was more energy, because I felt like last week they were like, I feel like you're not doing as much. There was more.
I feel like there was more energy in the cha-cha last week when there was less.
Well, there's more. It's just different. It was very
I don't know,
subdued for the tango, but I just was like, come on,
I agree.
girl. Like, I think they saw it more, like the drive, but I'm just like, I don't know. I just hope she really can like have like a breakout moment, because I feel like she's
capable of it.
Yeah, my mom really likes her too, and like we want to see her do that.
Yeah, me too. She showed, like Carrie Ann said, she showed that kind of feistiness in the first week. So
she's able to do it.
Yeah, she's able to do it. Yeah. And
I don't know what it is.
I heard people talking about how they said, oh, Carrie Ann like said, oh, Louis put more choreography in the second week. But then I heard people talking about how like, oh, they put too little. And then people were talking about, oh, maybe they put too much for her in this tango. And that's why I felt a little bit more like less. Like I have no idea. But yeah, I agree. I don't know.
They just need the right song dance combination and choreo match. And it's just like, I just want her to have like a wow moment, because I'm like, she's like just like right there. I'm like, we know you have it, but I don't know. Sam and Cheryl, they did the Viennese waltz. I thought they did pretty pretty well.
feel improved.
I think, I don't know if he was the only one, but he was pretty much one of the only ones I think that did 2 smooth styles in a row.
Oh,
So
right.
this
Yeah.
is his second time with the frame, so he had a little
Right.
advantage with that. But you know, I mean, Sam's working on his way.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least having that gave him a little of an advantage. So I'm like, come on, man, we want to see you salsa
You
or,
want to see you
or
succeed. I know.
matcha or
I thought he
something
definitely did improve
next
though.
week.
No, exactly. I know.
Yeah.
I thought he did improve though.
Yeah. Oh no, agreed. I mean, I think everybody did. And
Yeah.
then Teresa and Pasha, who did end up going home.
Right.
You know, I think they just weren't going to save her a second time. And then who was the
Because
other one?
they had the two, who was it? Was it Carrie Ann and Bruno? No,
Who was the other person in the bottom too?
it was Cheryl.
It was Cheryl. That was the other thing. Oh
But,
yeah.
but the first 2 votes were for Pasha and Teresa.
Yeah.
The first 2 votes were for them, and then Len was the tiebreaker, and
For
he saved Cheryl, and that's broke the tie. So I was like, my gosh.
I think it it's hard because it's, I don't know. I think it's just hard. But like I do feel like Teresa went through, like, she had major improvement.
Yeah.
I thought the judging was, I felt like they worded it harshly in some ways. I don't know. I like watched it over the course of like 3 days, honestly. The
Yeah,
episodes, but I think they worded it harshly in some days, but I think it was like, it was accurate. They just worded it poorly or
Yeah.
harshly, and she just needed some clear foot action, and then, you know, she did get eliminated,
Yeah.
which, you know, I think it's hard because it's like she did have a major improvement this week, and then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, and now they go home.
I agree. No, I know.
But that's really it. That was the whole
No,
episode.
I if I had to pick, I probably would have picked the, like, say if they said pick between one of the 2 to stay, I probably would have picked Cheryl and Louis too. So that's like, at least that
Yeah.
would have leaned towards that.
It's hard to save her a second week in a row.
I know, exactly.
I think that's the thing.
And yeah, I agree. I hope Pasha at some point in the future can go a little bit longer in the season, because like just seeing his choreography and his dancing, he's very, very talented. So I definitely hope he can go longer in the season at some point.
Yeah, and I'm wondering because like Teresa lives in New Jersey, and I think, I could be wrong, I feel like Pasha and Daniela live in New Jersey.
They live in New York. Daniela's from New York, because I remember when she went with them on, she was like, "Oh, I'm going back home," and they were going to New York. So I think they're from the area. Yeah.
I wonder, who knows? Maybe Teresa will do dancing. I am gonna talk to my friend that knows her, and I'm gonna just pick her brain and be like, "Oh my gosh, but like, I don't know." I'm like, "Tell her to come to the studio."
Hey,
I don't know. I forget exactly where they live, but we'll see. I mean,
well, they were in.
I don't know how much she got to talk to like Val and Jenna and Peta and them when
exactly.
they were doing the show.
They were here in Jersey during rehearsals every week. They always came back. So
yeah, I missed the clip because which dance studio they're at, but
I think they said it, but I forgot where. I forgot.
I'll have to look.
Yeah,
I'll have to look where she. I'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think I can have like breaking news on the podcast. Nobody, because I don't want to be, you know, it's
no,
like I'm
Same
just trying to get my personal information.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to spread anything.
No, I know. So I guess that was pretty much all of Dancing with the Stars this week. But I thought it was a really good episode overall. I loved Elvis week. I thought all the couples improved.
Yeah.
And it's James Bond week next week, or James Bond night next week. So that's going to be, I think, really fun to watch. So
that seems like an interesting. It's a good.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting
theme. Right.
Theme. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool dances with that.
I think. All right. Let's switch gears.
Let's do it.
Bachelor in Paradise. Please hold. Again, we are doing the background switching, and I'm just making sure I switch to the one.
I know, me too.
Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Sorry.
I
have a bunch of like goofy backgrounds that I don't know if I can put on the Zoom call. I know. But I just was like, ta-da!
Exactly. So it's like,
come on, you got to get on the beach, Matthew.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. From the ballroom to the beach. That's what.
Ballroom to the beach.
Exactly.
Okay, so. Yeah, Matthew and I, before we even sat down, we're like, I think we have more to talk about with Dancing and Bachelor in Paradise this week. Although next week that might change because they're going to have Monday and Tuesday episodes of Bachelor in Paradise and Dancing with the Stars. So next week is going to be our first official 6-hour episodes of television before we record. And this is why it's midnight. Okay.
Oh, that's really funny. We ended at midnight last week. So that's really, we're still going. Let's go.
I'm glad I had caffeine today. Anyway, okay, so I'm just going to pick a few thoughts from the beginning. Like we've said before, I think there's like a record number of like 43 people on the beach this year, so it's going to be crazy. And honestly, we're just going to try to get as much as we can in, and I think we're just like, let's just focus on the funny parts and bits, because this first episode was kind of like a little all over the place. So I just cracked up about the thing that they did with Genevieve with the 200 bathing suits and then the camera guy, and they like broke
so
the
funny.
fourth wall, and he's like, I think that one's fine.
Yeah, that was so hilarious.
Jill was like packing her thing with the cat, and then she had like the fake cat at one point, and my mom was like, that looks like Salem from like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah, I don't know, did you have anything else about like the packing packages?
I have I'm trying to think about that. I'm not sure this was really the packing one, but it was like right as like the first people like started coming onto the beach. Johnny's rap song, man, it's just like
oh my gosh, I know.
Oh Jesus, I don't know. And I said it's giving me we've talked about this, and we always talk about it, like it's giving me flashbacks to the Right Reason song during Desiree's season. It's like the music video quality and the way he rapped, it's the exact same like concept. It's just, I just thought it was really funny. And
the thing I put in that TikTok of the things I will never hear the same, like the word Right Reasons, I will just hear that
go back to that video. It reminded me so much of that video. I was just like, Johnny,
they're giving him Miami boy vibes.
I know, I did give him Miami boy vibes, but you know, he is a Florida boy, so it made sense. But yeah, so that's pretty much.
And he was speaking in third person.
Oh, I know he was.
I was like, no, don't do this.
I know. The opening, obviously, there was just so much going on. It was just like crazy that, again, it was just hard to keep up. I'm trying to think. I didn't write anything else, like the packing stuff. I actually, the two that you talked about, with Genevieve and with Jill, I thought that was so funny. Because it was funny. They tricked me for a second, because when Jill had like the fake cat, I first thought it was like real, but then like when they had the wide shot of it from the back, I didn't see it moving, and I'm like, wait, is that not real? And then I did the close.
She was with the real cat at the beginning. Then she switched to the fake cat. No, she was trying to put the real cat in the suitcase, but then she took out the fake cat out of the.
Yeah, I saw that.
Out of the suitcase.
It'd be funny if she brought the real cat onto the beach. That's pretty much all I had on like the packing stuff.
So I think what were some of the other things when they got on the beach? So like Michael A was realizing how much older he was, and he's like 38 years old, and he's like, youthful, so I don't know if you saw it. So Joe Amabile apparently tweeted some things, and it was not great. A lot of people were not thrilled with it. I think I don't know, I didn't read the whole slew of the tweets. I think the only thing that like, I think maybe with the one that he made about like the youthful thing, because it could kind of sound like a little creepy thing, but I don't know if he was trying to just like, obviously Joe and Kenny walked away with somebody out with like After Paradise last time, and the women are significantly younger than them. So I'm taking it as like a Michael A shouldn't be concerned because these women are younger, because like he could still find somebody.
Right.
I'm gonna try to take it that way. I don't think I agree with Joe's other tweets. Some of the other stuff he was saying about the stuff with Kira, which we can get at the end. But I don't know. I think that's just the hard thing, is like sometimes people are just saying these different things. But we can get into the Kira stuff later. But
exactly,
because Michael A said that, and I was just like, because like he's 38, and they're like, oh my gosh, like there is a pretty big age disparity for a lot of the people on the show. I was realizing like as time was going on.
I thought it was so funny that just sticking with Michael for a second. I just thought it was so funny that I can't believe I'm about to say this, but there was like a few like ITMs where all of them were calling him Zaddy, and I was like, jeez. I was like, oh no, that was so funny to me.
Listen, he's a very attractive man, but then
I know it's like
bad. So then they're turning into Zaddy, and then they
I know
what his son said. And then when we're getting ready to film, somebody put the meme, they're like, there's no way his 6-year-old son said all of that.
No, I know.
But like, I don't know. Kids are perceptive. Okay. I don't know.
What? They're energetic. They have a lot to say. Like, he could have said that. But I had a lot of like, I took some notes on the entrance stuff. So Serene was the first one on the beach, and I'm really happy she's back, because obviously we talked about I really loved her from Clayton season, so I was really happy she was there. And then I would just go down the line of, I don't have to go through everybody, but I just go down the line of like the memorable things, and then I put like the close or like queasy emoji next to Shanae. So I was like, oh, Shanae.
Although she was okay.
She was okay. She was not bad, but she was like, I just think the things she did on Clayton season kind of rubbed me the wrong way most of the time. So it was just like, well,
honestly, the worst thing was the whole mental health stuff that she was
Yeah,
just
that was
like
the worst.
not.
That was not
That
okay.
was not cool. Everything else was kind of just like drama, stupid
Drama for
things,
the
but
show. Yeah,
that was the one thing that I was just like, this is actually not cool.
exactly. Yeah, that was
At all,
not
like
cool at
not
all.
good.
Right. That
Um,
could have just been like producer drama. It's like they do every year. It's fine.
yeah, I mean that also that was bad. It's like for you to get somebody to say thing that is like
Exactly. I know we talked about this
yeah.
during the no, exactly. I know we talked about this during the bonus episode, where we were glad that Brittany was back because like
Yes.
obviously she hasn't had much of like a chance to kind of like really show her true self like after the whole thing on Matt's season and everything like that, which is really sad. So I'm glad she's back. And I said Sierra has had quite a bit to drink. So I was like she showed up and she was really like she was going for it and she was out there and just having fun. And I was like, let's go. And I said,
I like her energy.
no, I do like her too. I liked her on Clayton season 2, so I thought that was good. I said, and Tarzan is back, so I thought that with Jacob and the Leaf, I thought that was funny.
And I realized nobody knows who he is yet. Nobody knows who any of the guys from Gabby and Rachel's because the Bachelorettes aired in July and they filmed this in June. Right. So none of them know who any of Gabby and Rachel's guys are.
No, I know exactly. That's what they were
unless they like saw the cast announcement before, but like even then it's like we don't really remember people from that. You know,
right. Exactly.
Like, and they're just like whatever. They're just focused on like meeting all these other people. So yeah, I was like realizing I'm like, wow, they don't even know who this guy is.
I know. That's really, and it's like he's coming up and hugging everybody with just the leaf on. That's kind of funny. And they don't even know who he is.
Yeah.
It's either that was funny. And then like I said, again, Shanae wasn't horrible. She like again, I don't like. I guess she's okay. That's fine. Like I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah, it was fine.
But she was confident at least. I mean, she seemed confident coming into it, and then she talked to all the girls there and everything. And then of course, let's go, Justin. Justin came back, and then Jesse was like, "Can you please show? You got to show us our face. Your face." He's like, "Yeah, all his faces, Justin's faces." That was really funny with like the like cartoon music playing whatever with the faces. That was hilarious. And then Genevieve had said that she was interested in him, and so she went to go talk to him. And then the funniest thing, the whole conversation was like the whole narwhal unicorn thing. That was so hilarious. Where she was like, "Oh, a narwhal," and he was like, "Oh, what is that?" And she was,
"Do they make sea unicorns?"
Unicorns, and she was like, "Yeah." And I love his face. He was just like, Yeah.
I'm like, wait, did he not see Elf? Like,
Elf, I know.
Because it's like, I'm like, bye, buddy.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I frequently quote that.
And then he says, "Bye, thanks, Mr.
Like, bye,
Narwhal."
Mr. Narwhal.
So it's like
whatever.
So he even says narwhal on it, and so you see what it is, and you know it's a popular scene in the movie. So that was funny. And then I said it's funny that he thinks a narwhal is a sea unicorn.
Well, I'm like, I guess
it technically is, but it's just really funny that he just didn't know it. That was really funny.
Like things to Google. Is a narwhal a sea unicorn? Okay.
Yeah, exactly right. Trying to think what else. I'm just trying to throw down all my notes. If you have anything else, you can jump in.
Can we talk about the smiley face on Andrew's?
Yes.
So Andrew Spencer, so like Greg flew out to Chicago to go visit him, and then they had like the guys were like watching the premiere and Greg's story, and they were like, so wait, they went to get their pedicures. They went to get pedicures. They went. And Greg also got the smiley face on his toenail, but it was like more like colored in, and so they all got it. And I was like, I was dying. And he was like, I got the Andy foot. And so anyway, and they were like all together, and then they were just like watching Andrew watch the TV, like watching it back, and they're like, he's like, I don't know, I was like, it's so intense and whatever. And it's just like, I do have to say, like, just as an overall thing, I think we saw a little bit with like Justin and Genevieve, but I think specifically with like Andrew and Teddy, I'm like kind of jumping ahead a bit, but I just felt like, I don't know, I felt like it was a little bit more of like a relaxed vibe of Paradise, of like, it's not like they're just having all these like amazing conversations all the time. Like sometimes they seem like they're awkward and they're like just meeting them, and like I got more of that vibe this time.
Me too.
Just like, which okay, in some ways people might be like, this is not great TV because
I know.
like we're watching people awkwardly try to talk to each other and make out. But I'm just like, no, but like this is more real.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like all set up to it's like,
And
oh,
I
it's
was
a
like,
TV show. Yeah.
and like, how many times you see Andrew in his TikToks, in his stories, in his reels, and he's like this and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
whatever. And he like looked like he couldn't speak. I
No, I know. He could not speak.
was like, what?
That was
I
so
mean,
hilarious. I know.
it's like, and I think it's like humbling in a way. And I'm
Right.
just like, this is nice to
Yeah.
see. This it makes me feel better about myself.
Exactly.
I liked Casey's comment about I'm 37, I'm a geriatric millennial.
That was really funny. I love that. That was hilarious. I was like, you know what? I agree. That was really funny. And going back a little bit, I said that I think that Shanae and Jacob go together pretty well because they talked first.
Yeah.
And
I don't
again,
know if they'll end up together.
I don't think they end up together, but I
It's a
felt
good
like they just seemed to have a decent connection that first time they talked, I guess.
first kiss of paradise, and then
First
they
kiss of
wanted to show the
paradise.
dolphins.
Show the
after.
dolphin. Yeah, when they talked about the dolphin, that was funny.
Yeah.
And then Lace shows up from Ben's season, and oh, here it comes. And so I love how she walks in, and then they keep like showing the close-up shots of everybody talking, and she's like, "Hello," and then like no one's answering, and then she was just not having it. She was just like not happy about it.
Awkward too, though. Like in some ways, I
Yeah.
don't blame her, but she can seem very aggressive. Her personality, I'll put it that
Right.
way.
Yeah. It
But
said she worked. She said she
yeah.
worked on herself, so that's a good thing. But
Yeah.
so again, I agree with you. And I was like, Logan's back. That's what that's what I wrote next to my notes is that Logan's back because we haven't seen him since the cruise ship when he abruptly left. So
We thought they threw him overboard,
again, exactly. They're
No,
like
but we did see him at the mental.
mental, right? Exactly. But besides that, we hadn't seen him any other time. They're like, oh, Logan's left. That's it. We didn't get any explanation for that. So that had happened, and then Brandon had said that or then Brandon showed up, and then he said there's a lot of the girls liked him immediately. Like they're like, oh my gosh, like we like Brandon and everything.
Everybody loves Brandon.
Exactly. Who doesn't love Brandon? He's the best. But he went to go. He talked to Serena immediately, which you know what, bold move, dude. I commend you. Let's go. And I feel like they could be a really good match because I feel like their personalities are so similar to me. I feel like that that is so similar. And I wrote down, I said, I love how he said I love how he said, oh, you have the I want to kiss you eyes. I thought that was really funny.
I was just like, I put like the heart eyes emoji because I was just like, wait, this is like
Really
I don't know. Everybody always says this stuff. Oh, it's just for TV. But no, I'm like, no, like I mean, obviously there's like this extra pressure from like the producers of just like, well, like you're here, you might as well just like make out on like the first day of paradise.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'm like, no, like I genuinely do feel like they like each
They
other.
do go well together.
Yeah. And it's like, all right, I don't know. They're here. This is why they're here, is to go through this experience. So like
exactly.
YOLO and it's fine. I mean, it's like hard. It's like this is literally day one. Like
right. And again, we're already having that happening. I know. Yeah, I think they do go well together. And I thought it was really sweet, the whole moment they had.
Yeah.
And oh, here we go. So now we're getting into the Romeo situation.
Drama.
Jill and Kira,
yeah. Let's just cover this as a whole unit, and then we'll keep going on the other stuff.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like separated in my notes, but I can just like follow along with it. But so yeah, Romeo showed up, and apparently he knew Kira and Jill like from outside the show, and then like they had connections and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he went to school with Kira at one point, and he's hung out with Jill. And I did randomly, actually, when I went to the Bachelor Live on Stage thing, when Justin was like the person in New York City, Romeo was actually sitting like 2 rows in front of us.
That's amazing.
Oh, he's there. Yeah, I know. We were focusing on getting the picture with Rick, so we didn't get a picture with him too. But he was there, so I did get to see him in person. Random fun fact.
Exactly. But the vibe I got from it is he had said that like Kira was kind of like a one night thing, like, but she was saying differently. But he was saying like he had more of a connection with Jill and that they were somewhat close and they missed each other off the show. And I said, of course, here's Kira starting the drama. Because of course they have to have this happen. And then
so she took her drink when she sat down.
Because at first she was like, let me take this drink. I didn't know what she was doing, but then the face Genevieve or that Joe made was like when she made that face, I was like, oh, she took her drink. Why is she doing that? It makes no sense.
And it sounded like Jill said something that they were like friends, but then it seemed like Kira was kind of always like going after the guys that Jill was like interested in. Now,
Yeah.
I think like just going back, like going towards the end, I think the main thing that I'm picking up on is it's just like, okay, if Kira had a relationship with like Romeo, like maybe not even just non-romantic, like before this, they like have
Yeah.
some sort of friendship.
Yeah.
And I think what happened? I think it was like later on then, because there was a certain point where Jill was like talking to him of like kind of like, what are you doing? Like we have to decide what's going on. And I think she just kind of was trying to get Romeo to realize like, if you want to be with me, like you have to like stop
Make that decision, right?
allowing her to keep coming here
Yeah.
and monopolizing our time, I
Right.
think. And so basically like then Kira came over and then Jill was there and then Jill just left and then I think she got a little irritated with him, but he did say something to Kira of like kind of like no, like whatever. And then whatever, and then they went to go talk, Jill and Kira. That's when
Which
Brandon
none
was
of
like,
that
oh,
made
I
any
got tacos.
Exactly. I know. That was so hilarious when Brandon comes. He's like, I got tacos. What's going on? And like they have like him and then the fight out of focus is like that was so hilarious. But again, that fight didn't go anywhere. It was
The
just,
conversation was a mess. And my mom
such
and
a
I were
mess.
just like watching the end of it tonight. And I think the main thing that I kind of said was it was like, look, I think personally that Jill is like, I can understand why she feels this way. I think she might be overreacting, but I'm not gonna say she's crazy because I
Yeah.
think the point is it's like, you know, Jill just probably feels like a little bit threatened by the fact that like Kira and Romeo have like a relationship to any capacity. So
Even
it's
if
like
it, yeah.
Jill's trying to get time with him and then she just keeps coming by. That's like intimidating and it's a little awkward. And I think Jill just has had it with her.
Yeah.
And it is a long day. They're tired. This is literally only like day one. Okay.
Mhm.
And she just kind of was like, you know, standing up for
Right.
herself. And then Kira's just like, what the
Yeah.
heck are you talking about? So like I can understand why Kira's like this girl's like freaking out of her mind. And then I can understand why Jill is just like, this is annoying. So
Mhm.
I get both sides of it to a point. I kind of hope that it's like, okay, whatever, because now Kira went to go hang out with Casey. So
Yeah, exactly. I was about to
they
say,
were fine.
yeah,
So
that's fine. And then so yeah, I agree with that. The whole conversation was a mess. So it was just annoying. And then I said, okay, so then obviously Jesse brought them all together.
mhm.
And so the men are handing out the roses this week, which we'll probably see next week. That happened. And then I was like, Wells is back.
Yeah.
It was so good to see Wells back. Everybody loves Wells. So let's go, Wells. It was so awesome to see him. And then I just side note, I was like, Jacob finally has clothes on. It's because like they showed
Oh,
him
yeah,
the
it
clothes
did.
and it's like, well, I wasn't expecting that. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then and so Andrew gets, like we talked about, got the first day card and he picks Teddy and they both seem nervous, but I thought they had a good conversation. Like again, I think they opened up more as they went on and they seemed to get more comfortable with each other. And he had said that he sees confidence in her and that attracts her to him, which I thought was really cool. And then he takes her to this like big margarita pool glass thing. I didn't know what that was. I was like, I guess that's a pool.
I
That
guess
was
it's like a pool because it's not like a hot tub.
like a hot tub, and it's like
I mean, I just thought it was
like
funny.
7-8 foot margarita glass. That was really funny. So yeah, that
What
was
else?
interesting. What else?
I think I took a note a little bit too of just saying about like okay, so when they were doing that watch party,
Yeah,
the date card of the
right.
taking a shot at love. So everybody's like, they have to be together still. So I mean, who knows? I just feel like Andrew might have just kept them all from like the whole trip. But
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
but it
I
was
said,
funny if like she's like, you don't give me the playing it cool vibes.
no, I know that was really funny. He was like, really? That was really funny.
Yeah.
And then I said, and then we get, of course, get to the whole lace situation, where she was upset, and then I said that impression is gold. Whoever did the impression of her, I forgot who it was. Somebody did an impression of her, but
I don't remember. All I know is it was just like, well, that she basically was like, this is the most boring season I've ever seen in my
right.
life. It's like the first. I was like, it's the first day, my girl.
No, I know exactly. And I love how she went around and she was like, oh, I'm 32. And everyone's like, is it your birthday? And then she told everybody it was her birthday when it wasn't her birthday. And then,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, that's major Shanae from Clayton's season vibes, because it was like, she's just going to say whatever.
Yeah, but then Shanae actually tried to like come talk to her to like calm her down.
Yeah, I know.
She barely didn't even like have it. And it was so funny because like people were actually posting on Twitter. They're like, I'm finding out today that wasn't actually her birthday. Like people that were there. And I was like, that's hilarious.
That's really funny. And then we
she was talking to Logan.
the Logan. Oh, geez. I know that was really funny.
they were like, he was just like me. Like he
Yeah,
told
I
me, and he
know.
looked, it's like, are you talking to somebody else? And I think she's like, she's only interested in him, and called her loose.
He called her loose, and
Loose.
it was, and like I said,
He
that
was
whole
mortified.
he was
He was
mortified.
mortified.
And that again, that like when he said, or when she said that he was the only one that she was interested in, he looks like he was so terrified. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
And she said that she's 32, and he's like, I'm 26.
I
I
know.
forgot he was 26. I'm like,
I know.
what?
I know.
I didn't think he was 26. I'm
I
like,
don't
he
either.
looks older than me too. Like, whatever. Anyway, that
Yeah.
was just,
And then they shared.
I don't think that's going anywhere.
I don't think it's going anywhere either, especially with his reaction. At least they got to share the birthday dessert together, so that was nice. And then the last few notes I have is that Romeo, they had that conversation again, and he had told Kira that he kind of wanted to pursue Jill, and then that was what he wanted to. So I'm glad he was upfront about that. And then that's pretty much all the notes I had. And the only other one that I have is that the spoiler we got, or like the preview we got for next week, is that Victoria from Peter is back, or from Peter's season is back. So it's gonna be interesting to see her. So I have no idea.
The last few things I had where I just love that word palapa. It always makes me laugh.
Oh, I know, me too.
So Justin and Genevieve have kissed. Jacob and Shanae did. Andrew and Teddy did.
Right.
Jill and Romeo did. Did Kara and Romeo kiss? Because I forgot. Because my mom said yes. And
they hugged. And then they were like looking over and they were like, oh, they're hugging. How nice. That's what Jill was saying, like kind of fast, like sarcastically. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
but they
right.
hugged, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And then Michael A and Sierra did have a very interesting conversation about being a single parent, and like I thought it was really interesting about how he talked about how it's just like it's hard because he's making memories with his son, and it's like, you know, it's just like him and the son, and he's like, we have all these memories, and it's like whoever I end up with, like they're not going to be part of those memories. And it's such a very interesting topic, and I'm glad he said it, because it's just something that unless you're living that, you don't think of those things.
Exactly.
And look, to be perfectly honest, I don't really know if I see Michael A and Sierra together, but like the whole point is like it's not always just about the romantic relationships on the show too. It's like getting to meet the different people and becoming friends too. And I think it's definitely a learning experience for a lot of them. So it was just like a great conversation. Like whatever that situation becomes, I thought it was a good conversation to have had and have aired on television. And
yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, I think that was really good. So I don't know.
Pretty much there wasn't much like all the major stuff, like funny things were very short, so there wasn't much like stuff to really like talk about for a very long time. It was a pretty pretty standard Paradise premiere. Yeah.
But more is coming, I'm sure.
Sure, for sure, especially with 2 episodes next week.
Oh goodness. All right. So okay, do you want, I think maybe we'll wrap it up.
Yep, we can. Okay. I think we got everything. We talked about a lot tonight. It was awesome.
Yeah, we got a lot done. And it was like probably the least about Bachelor related stuff.
I know, that's really
all of the episodes. We're shifting. We're shifting. We'll see. Okay, well, thank you all so much for listening to today's episode. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit the post notification bell. And if you enjoyed it, share it with a friend. Also follow us on Instagram at Ballrooms and Bachelors, and on our personal Instagram accounts, which are linked in our Instagram bio and appear at the end screen of the video. And yeah, I think just stay tuned. Remember, Bachelor in Paradise is going to be on Monday and Tuesday, and then Dance with the Stars is on Disney Plus on Monday night. So and you know what? Also remember to vote for Dancing with the Stars between 8 to 9:50 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, because that is the only time you can vote. So even if you can't watch it, I set a reminder on my phone to go in and vote for the people I want to vote for. So even if I can't watch it, I'm voting. So So yeah. So I think that was just my final reminder. But
yeah, that's good.
All right. See you all next week.
See you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.